curtain rises and the players come out. Webs of lies spinning from their mouths. Stop looking, listen for a little while. And you don't see a very high smile. Pay no attention to the men behind the curtain. Just look away when you see the blood spurting down to a steady drip. I promise to leave you a little bit. I'll be back for another drink tomorrow. I love the taste of your terror and your sorrow bathing in your blood. It's never enough. Program reality, double thing duality, root upon the face of all mankind. Our numbers up and the dead for the time. Go along to get along. Hypnotized by the siren song. The flames are empty and the crypts are cracking open. The horde's upon you and you stand there frozen, waiting for the word. Stand in line and wait your turn. Don't follow the strings to find out who is pulling. Just drink your poison, keep on laughing and drooling, eating your own flesh. The master always knows what's best. Worldwide genocide.
There we are. Hello and welcome to the Iron Mountain Hour. It's nice to have you with us. It is Sunday, June the 5th, 2022. We're coming to you live from Carter County, Tennessee, here at the middle of the Iron Mountain. My name is Cliff. I'm joined by Tim and Dustin. And we're going to get into some, I don't know what to call this segment yet, but I was thinking something like the green room or the waiting room, where we just kind of shoot the shit about, you know.
That's what you call it right there.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds.
Shoot the shit.
Hey, Sean Harrington says, okay, I got the time right this time. Welcome in, Sean. We're glad to have
Sean.
you.
Well, you could be the first contestant on Cliff Shoots the Shit.
That's right.
Cliff has some shit here that he wants to shoot. Shoot.
Literally, I mean, we've got a pile of it sitting over here. We're gonna...
We do.
Nice Gallagher performance.
Oh, man.
Let us pray turn
That
into something very disastrous.
Yeah, Gallagher, that would be taking Gallagher to a whole nother level. It says your show are 10. It says here your shows are live 10 p.m. Eastern time, but you're Central and I'm Pacific, and that's confusing. Central, we're not Central. We're Eastern. I don't know why you would get Central. Hey there, Miss You. I was hoping you'd join. I meant to give you a comment and tell you that's all you got to do is chat. Miss You was kind enough to compliment my singing voice. That was very sweet of you. And she then asked how she could participate in the show, and I meant to get back and comment to her and say, hey, all you got to do is jump in the chat. But you figured it out. I knew you would. Welcome. Glad to have you join us. So we're in the greater Johnson City area, and this was this weekend they're doing the Little Chicago Festival.
It was Blue Plum.
Blue Plum. They called it Blue Plum this year, or is there a Little Chicago
There's two
too?
different ones.
There's there.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So I was thinking that they were going back to you know, they had Blue Plum for years and years, and then they kind of quit doing it, and they started doing the Little Chicago Festival.
Well, they still did both. They just confined the Blue Plum over to the Marsh area. Little Chicago was like the old Blue Plum, where they kind of expanded
Little Chicago
downtown.
only exists because what happened with Blue Plum, in a nutshell, was once upon a time it was all open.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we can make more money if we have bigger bands in the middle and then close it in and charge. So
Okay,
that's what
yeah.
they wanted. They wanted to start charging for people to see like the bigger performers. And a lot of the businesses got really upset about it because the local businesses are the ones that made Blue Plum to begin with. They called it, they called the 13th month. They said it was one of those things that kind of helped them get through the year. And so effectively by blocking off that whole section and only allowing people to see the performers for a fee, the businesses felt betrayed. They wanted to have everything open again.
Okay.
So ergo, Little Chicago was more akin to Blue Plum. Although it still looks pretty divided because Blue Plum, maybe it picked up. It didn't look like it was too bumping this year, but I hope it was for the people that went.
Yeah. Well, I was going to show a CC because I thought maybe they had just changed it back. So I was going to show pictures of me and Dustin playing at Little Chicago. Maybe I'll go ahead and do that anyway because we are going to talk about Little Chicago. So So here's Dustin and I on stage.
Is this a little Chicago Fest?
I gotta go to the other one.
I've played Blue Plum, but I've never played Little Chicago.
Well, I gotta get to the right cameras here, so the hotkeys will work. Here we go. So here is Dustin and well, shit. There we go.
Who's playing drums?
That's Aaron Armageddon there.
Oh, hello, Aaron.
My buddy Aaron, he's commented on the chat sometimes. Yep.
Yeah.
He played the drums for us in Corn Beast and the Pillbillies for a while, and there's Dustin on the bass and me on the guitar. And here is me and Dustin at Al Capone's in downtown Johnson City, named after the,
Might be Capone.
the idea. Yes, Capone's. It's named after the idea where that Al Capone. Some people think he frequented Johnson City, and that's kind of what we're going to get into a little bit tonight.
It was at least the middle ground for a lot of the liquor running, if nothing else.
That's what it looks like to me.
There's just a lot of speculation about how much time he stayed. At one point in time, they tried to say, I don't know if it's true or not, but there was a bar in the building when it was known as Gatsby's.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be owned by Al Capone, but I'm pretty sure, this could be wrong, anybody that knows about Capone's history, they can tell me, I think they took it out when they transferred it to Capone's because they were afraid it was going to get trashed.
What was it though?
It was just this little like this little bar stool thing that was supposed to be a part. Like it was something that you would use in a bar, but it wasn't very much of it. But I could be talking to my ass. You got a comment?
Yes. Yeah. So it's okay. Sean says Ben's in Jamestown, Tennessee, is in Central Time. Now all Tennessee's not in the same time zone. Once you get out past Knoxville, you go to Central Time Zone. East of Knoxville and east, you're in the Eastern Standard or Eastern Daylight, I guess, right now. But yeah, that's where the confusion came from.
Drive
Sean.
to Nashville real rough on the way back.
Yeah, it does. 'Cause you got to go back
You
at a
get
time
back, you're like, oh, I lost another hour.
Yeah, you're going back in time. So yeah, we're going to get into the Al Capone a little bit tonight, and where we're getting into Little Chicago and the liquor running and stuff that was around here. It just happens that we've got a story here from the Johnson City Press where the Mountain Dew officially opens an outpost in Mountain City. Now, what could that be? An outpost in Mountain City? Well, let's find out.
Like a Mountain Dew outlet or something?
Well, let's just find out about that.
The
Mountain Dew officially opens outpost in Mountain City. And Mountain Dew's return to its roots, the beverage founded in the hills of Tennessee, has come home and opened an outpost in Mountain City. They say it's a destination where people can come and have fun in the outdoors with friends, and while trying a slew of never-before-released flavors like pickle, s'mores, huckleberry, summer pop, and more. The Mountain Dew Outpost is located at 1203 Harbin Hill Road, Mountain City. They wanted to help outdoor enthusiasts. Basically, they wanted to sell Mountain Dew to people who were on the trails, and this is a neat new way to do it. The history of Mountain Dew goes back 80 years, where it was founded in Tennessee, so it seemed like a good place for them to do that. And it's going to open until June 12th, and that's from 8 a.m. until dusk. Now, when we've had Mountain Dew related stories in the past, because we are so closely related to the roots of Mountain Dew here, we have done a particular thing, and you guys know what that is. Last time we tried some, what was it, Flaming Hot? Yeah, we decided that it either tasted like someone dissolved a Flaming Hot Cheeto in a thing of tea. Are we going to talk about Geraldo and Al Capone's vault?
Do you know about the story?
I don't know about that.
We can
Maybe
briefly talk about it.
you tell us about that.
I'll
for
tell you
sure.
about it when we get into it. It's pretty funny.
All right, cool. Yeah, I guess Tim will tell that one, Sean. So, yeah, I think
or we can at least talk about it together.
Okay, cool. Well, that's kind of the way we do this show. Sean Harrington, what a disappointment, eh?
He's spoiling the ending.
Oh, because Missy says she's from Big Chicago. No, we're not disappointed at all. We're glad to have you from Big Chicago. There, miss you too.
No. He's saying what a disappointment to the comment of. Well, I'll just go ahead and tell the.
No.
Well, like because it gives it away. It's not real important to what we're going to talk about. With Chicago. Al Capone had a vault that was never opened.
Okay.
And Geraldo found this vault, and he built this big, I think it was like 60 Minutes. It was this
Geraldo Rivera?
Yeah. He built this big story about how we're going to finally crack into Al Capone's vault. I don't remember if they got the code or if they finally, fired it open or whatever. Well, they got so anything inside.
Well, people were probably expecting a lot from Al Capone.
Dead bodies,
but yeah,
machine
especially
guns, diamonds, you know.
Yeah, especially after Geraldo was the one who broke the Zapruder film. You know, did you know that?
I know, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Geraldo was the guy who brought the Zapruder film out when it was made when it was made public. He's the guy who released it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's pretty. So
Makes
right,
sense.
people were probably expecting a lot from Geraldo when he went into Capone's vault, and that's all he had. Well, boys, have I got a surprise for you?
We doing the do?
We are doing the do. Yes, I do. Now I had.
God, they're huge.
I had some reservations about whether or not to try these, as I generally refrain from consuming
It's like a
sweetened
Monster
beverages
drink.
that do not contain sugar, and this one does not. But let's see what it has in here.
Oh, he said it was a live TV event when they cracked it. So when they cracked the vault and found it empty, it was live.
Cricket noises, like
It's kind of like when they went into the Egyptian tomb there. Remember all those times in the 90s when they went to the Egyptian tombs and they had the robots walk in and they're like, oh, we can't get the door open. You know, they do this big live event and then they just stop it and nothing happens. It's probably kind of like that. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to give you that kind of blue balls tonight. We're going to be trying the Mountain Dew Hard Black Cherry here live on air. We're going to give you our first impressions of it.
Mountain Dew has it, unlike that Johnson City Gold one that just tasted like skunky beer with nothing in it. From like, you know,
Was it
decade ago.
alcoholic?
No, it's non-alcoholic.
Well, this one's alcoholic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. At least this one has something that, you
It
know.
has a reason to taste bad.
Yeah.
It has a benefit to the horrible. We're popping.
Now this one is brewed in Green Rebel Brewing Company, Memphis, Tennessee. So this one's a Tennessee beverage too. Green Rebel Brewing Company, Memphis, Tennessee.
Green
Rebel, hardmountaindew.com. No caffeine?
Nope.
Wow. Why are we even drinking this? No sugar, no caffeine?
Well, I don't like the party.
They have to get some.
Let's
Damn it.
pop it, boys.
Wait on, go.
Gotta smell it first.
It kind of just tastes like Mountain Dew, doesn't it?
I hate the artificial sweetener that's in it.
Yeah.
I taste that. That's the only thing I was going to comment. You know what it reminds me of? If Drew's out there, he'll know what I'm talking about. I'm a much weaker version only. You were at a Tim Fest or two.
I was about to say,
you're gonna,
is
you're
it the
put-
potion?
Yeah, potion. Drew would make this god awful stuff called potion, and the idea of it was you're supposed to be able to get like a whole frat group of people drunk off the bottom shelf. So get everybody smashed for like under $20 or
It's
something.
like jungle juice with Everclear and
No, it's worse.
Kool-Aid and jungle fruit.
Well, this was potion, according to Drew, was the bottom shelf vodka. Usually, I think around here it's like Taka. It's like $6 for the big one.
And we even water filtered it. We even filtered it through the water filter.
Yeah, we
to
put
make
it
a
through
little
like
better.
yeah, bougie on the alcohol side.
Yep.
We ran it through a Brita a couple of times to see if we could make it taste better, to no avail. And then you mix, what is it? It's that blue raspberry Kool-Aid and a Mountain Holler, whatever
Like
the generic Mountain Dew is
cheapest
from
Mountain Dew
Walmart.
you can find it up from like dollar store.
Dollar store,
Okay.
Dollar store
Mountain
Mountain
Holler or whatever.
Clover Mountain.
But the reason it's dangerous is because it tastes like this.
Yeah.
And so, like, you can just sit there and drink it and drink it and drink it.
You know,
and
except,
all of a sudden you're really drunk.
Right.
Drunker than you
know,
wanted to be.
except like, 40% alcohol as opposed to 5.
Right. Well, that's how like we used to make with Bacardi 151 and Everclear and mix it with Country Time lemonade, and you could drink that shit straight up. That was a high school, college age kind of thing.
And regular Mountain Dew, Dr. Nuff, and gin.
Gin and regular Mountain Dew. Yeah, that's not bad.
Pretty good.
Yeah, gin
Gin's
goes
got
pretty
kind
good
of
with.
a piney taste to it.
Okay, with gin, back several years ago, whenever they would do like the random Mountain Dew flavor, the Democracy, where you could choose the stuff, there was I forget the one it was. It was like a melon flavor, which I don't really like watermelon stuff, but it went really well with gin.
Well, I
It
almost
lost, but it was like, I was like, hey, this makes this bearable.
I almost did watermelon tree tonight, but then I thought, nah, I'm not going to do that to him.
Black cherries would be
So
better.
black cherry, they might be able to drink it, but the artificial sweetener is really what kills it, dude.
Yeah,
If you're out there, if you're paying attention to stuff like this, Mountain Dew, make some with sugar. I might actually drink that.
If it was
That's
real sugar.
Yeah, if it was real
Or-
sugar, or even high fructose corn syrup.
Or at least stevia.
Yeah,
Well, what is
Stevia,
this?
take the real. I don't know what's in this one.
it tastes like what do
Tastes
you call
like
it?
sucralose,
Tastes
or
like sucralose, yeah.
a little bit, maybe
You guys know
like,
what sucralose
Maybe
tastes like?
aspartame. I don't know.
yeah,
but
you might have one of those. or the aspartame potassium, or however you say that.
It didn't say, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't say on there that I can see.
All right, well, that's funny that you guys even knew the word for one of them. Do we need to move these, or is this okay?
Oh no, that's good.
I ain't giving no
I think
free
if we go,
endorsement.
let's go back to the thing here. No, the only endorsement we're doing is for Tammy's Dildos, and that is custom artisan sex toys, glass, wood, vinyl.
She's getting
You
into
name it.
epoxy.
Yep. What do you call it?
Does she have any of those weird, like, fetishy alien ones?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, everything you want.
In fact, Tammy was one of the very first ones to invent the alien impregnator. And if you want to see this thing in action, you can find an all gas no brakes video at a flat Earth con. No, it's a cause kind of convention where it's Adult Con or whatever, where they're showing it. Anyway, Tammy was the inventor of the alien impregnator, which is a giant, awful looking, hideous thing that you would only see in your rapey dreams. That
In it.
then comes
There you
with
go.
what are they? They're like glucose eggs or something, so they melt. So you just essentially diarrhea them out later. Man, I'm sorry.
That's Tammy's Dildos. Everybody, give him
Man, that's such a weird fetish. I want to be impregnated by a xenomorph.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's a real fetish. They sell big. Okay, I'm sorry if this is like a horrible subject for right now.
This will be in a
There's these
nutshell.
giant, awful looking xenomorph peckers that you can buy. Made of the same dildo-y substance, and you shove eggs up in them so you can boop, 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 plop them up in your butt, and then they dissolve, of course.
Jeez.
But there's some people out there wanting to get impregnated by, and it's specifically xenomorph too. So it's not like anybody's out there having dreams of
That's like-
Klingons.
yeah.
or something.
You know,
It's
minus the chest burster part, it's,
Well, that's the whole horrifying thing of
it's
the
not
alien.
impregnated the right way, but,
The whole reason Alien was supposed to be scary is like it was an analog for basically being raped and having the creature grow inside
Like,
you, And,
yeah.
and
it's the praying mantis analogy.
Yeah.
Like, don't lose your head for a piece of ass.
indeed.
Bring it over here.
Yep, miss you. Yep, we're sorry. We get off on a little bit here and there. So
The Mountain Dew's growing on me though. It's not.
yeah, it's not bad, dude. If it were not for the artificial sweetener, I'd probably actually like that.
yeah. I would probably purchase these if it wasn't for that.
It's pretty good. I mean, you wouldn't know it was alcoholic, to be honest. It's only 5% alcohol, but you could easily drink that. So yeah, except for the artificial sweetener, I'm a fan. The black cherry flavor is right on. The alcohol to flavor mix is nice. I could drink that shit.
Do you still have that telly?
I do still have that telly. I played the shit out of that telly. That's
Is that your chicker picker?
that's
telly?
my chicken picker telly. Yeah, let me put it up. I guess people can't see it here. Let me get
I
where people can
often
see it.
don't know. I'm not trying to smack my lips disgustingly, folks. It's just it does that artificial sweetener. It's like hung down in like my tongue. I'm sitting there trying to get it out.
I keep drinking more to be like to satiate it for a minute or two. Then it's like, ooh.
Yeah,
There
that's a Nashville telly. It's got a strap pickup in the middle and regular telly pickups on the outside, and it lets me mostly play one guitar. And I can
I'm a
get
fan of that. I don't like bringing a bunch of stuff.
I can get Strat and telly sounds, and then kind of everything in between, working my tone knot a little bit. So
And the telly cutout is just pretty.
yeah, it is.
Well,
And then Dustin's playing his Spectre bass there.
you still have the Spectre?
Oh
Yes.
Oh, you trade
I'm
out.
never getting rid of that thing.
Is that the one you're not getting rid of?
Yeah.
Dustin got that. You got that from the custom shop, didn't you?
Yeah.
Straight from Czechoslovakia.
Yep, the custom built Euro.
Let's see if we can.
6-string fretless.
Get a better
good
picture
picture
of
of
that
it.
bass. It's got a weird
Oh.
tone on the fretboard. If anybody likes, was it ebony?
There it is.
Actually, it's Egyptian rosewood for the fingerboard,
Egyptian rosewood. Okay.
which it's so it's a little warmer than ebony. That's why I only run flat wounds on it, because I don't want to groove it and make it, tear it up, because metal is a lot tougher than wood.
Does,
So you run flat wounds.
yeah, I get what you're saying now.
I run nylon tape wounds on it. It's fun because I can play this exact same bass, same setups, just my attack on my right hand for country or death metal or jazz. Where I put my hands at and how I
Yeah.
play, I can go note. I change nothing.
Yep.
No
Go ahead
amp
and do it.
settings, nothing. Just flip it on.
no,
all there.
I briefly played flat wounds on my Taylor. Of course, it's an acoustic. It's not a bass, but
Still, flat wounds are awesome.
they felt really good. I almost had like the you ever play with scalloped frets? Okay, the flat ones to me almost had like a scalloped feel to them. Like I felt like I could grab them better than I could
Yeah,
the other ones.
they feel, whenever you first start playing them, they do have a different feeling.
But I felt like I could grab them easier.
Yeah.
But it may have been the brand. They lost tone after about 9 days. I do beat the hell out of the guitar. I mean, I am a pretty aggressive player. But that was the issue. I had to quit using them. The ones I used, they were called Dragon Skins. I'm a fan of them still. It's just they wouldn't break. But they lost their life after about
Were
2,
they
3 hour
coated?
gigs. Yeah, they're coated too. That's what they call Dragon Skins.
Okay, that's probably one of the reasons why they lost their tone. The coated strings they get dead quicker. Just the
Okay.
coating.
Well, I know on the thing it says these are flat wound strings, so you had to like crimp it at the top so it doesn't come
Around.
undone, you know. So I did make sure not to do all that, but it really did just seem like
I mean, flat wounds, that is kind of an appeal. They're a little warmer, a little deader sounding. Anyway, that's kind of
Okay.
Kind of why you wanted
flat
them,
well,
yeah.
wound.
they were bright when I first got them, so, but after 2, 3 hour
Well,
gigs, they were.
I mean, I know on bass, they're thumpier, they're warmer, they get you that more vintaged sound.
Yeah.
The ones
Which, like I said, I do.
That's Atlas behind
play
Dustin there.
too aggressively, but not too aggressively, just aggressively on with the pick and
That's
stuff.
Atlas the border collie. He loves Dustin because every time
Iron
Dustin
Mountain
comes
now, the
over.
name of your band?
No, the Corned Beef and the Pillbillies is that band with me and Dustin. We're like on hiatus right now. We kind of got shut down a little bit over the COVID
Oh,
closures
dog.
and all that stuff, and we hadn't put anything back together. And I've kind of honestly I've really enjoyed it, but I haven't missed it for right now. I probably want to do it again sometime, but for right now, I'm liking doing this, and we're working on some tunes from the Iron Mountain Hour. Again, we're probably when we hit 500 subscribers, we'll probably put the new one up there. We should have enough time to record it. Hopefully, we hit 300 subscribers this weekend, so thank you all for
that
doing
means
that.
tell your friends.
That's right.
Make us
Hey,
get off our ass.
yeah, that'll push us to actually get this thing completed and get it recorded and put it up for a theme song for the show. So
You want to hear what the amalgamation of what was it? Tom Waits and Glenn Danzig.
Tom Waits, Glenn Danzig, and Coulter Wall, I would say, is a good representation of the idea I have in my head. So
It's good to have options.
yeah, without further ado, though, let's start into the show a little bit. We're going to get into the conspiracy chart a little bit. I don't know if y'all have seen this, but before we get started on that, I want to show you a couple of tweets here. So every weekend, I am trolling and crawling the forums on Reddit and Twitter, so you don't have to, and I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I find there. This one here from LP Capital is showing, gosh, I'm going to have to fix those hotkeys there. But congratulations for the new subs. Hey, thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Tail,
Miss you too.
Which dog is it?
That's
Border
Atlas.
Atlas's tail.
That's Atlas the Border Collie.
Is that
Yes.
what we're looking at?
So yeah, we're going to, before we do, I've got to get this over here on the right camera so everything will show up and the hotkeys will work right, because it doesn't like to do it when we're on that camera. So here we go. We're going to show you. Let's get out of here. Dustin is not going to play ball with you right now. All right. So this we got this tweet here from LP Capital. The establishment leaking the Epstein Maxwell client list. They're all against that, leaking the Roe versus Wade opinion. They're all for that. Now to me, that's seems like a pretty good way to divide Americans, because it's something that you're never going to come to, or at least right now, we're not going to come to a middle ground on this thing, on this topic of abortion anytime soon. And if anything, it seems like a good way to gin up some kind of argument and disagreement, probably prior to the midterm elections would be my
This is why I
guess.
say with stuff like this, is like, this is why you need less government, because this is what happens when you let government regulate things.
Yep. Right there with you. So anyway, with the we got that on the Epstein client or Maxwell client list. Let's go over to one more here. This one's from Elon Musk, and we're going to go down the tweet thread a little bit from this.
I like
Elon
this
Musk says, only thing more remarkable than the DOJ not leaking the list is that no one in the media cares. Doesn't that seem odd? And we got things I've never seen in my life. We got a fire-breathing dragon. We got a Tyrannosaurus. We got a unicorn. And we got the Epstein Maxwell client list. And Elon says, sometimes I think my list of enemies is too short, so... And then somebody says, I found one. And it shows a picture of Ghislaine Maxwell, they're with Elon Musk, and this person, not Jerome Powell, is implying that Elon Musk is on the client list. And Elon says, "Oh yes, Maxwell photobombing me at a Vanity Fair Oscar party. You should ask them why they." He says, "You should them why they invited her. You should ask them why they invited her. The same people who pushed this photo say nothing about very prominent people who actually went to his island a dozen times. Also very strange. Also very strange."
Yeah, that is very strange. So they say Trump was connected to Epstein.
Well, then we have
They won't bring up Clinton's 27
Right.
proven visits.
the
Man,
picture
you know what
of
really bothers
Clinton
me?
in the dress in Epstein's Manhattan penthouse.
Well, you know, those actually turned out to be but every people side the conspiracies try to defend their own people is what's stupid about it. The dress photo, and they also had the George Bush with the paper airplanes and stuff. There's actually a
Paintings.
caricature artist that does those. But the idea that Epstein thought they were so funny that he bought them and hung them up in his office is what's so crazy. And I don't know, out of taste. I mean, it kind of sounds braggy, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't
Look
it?
at the shit we get away with, you know?
It seems like he's basically keeping Bill Clinton in his front pocket there.
Well, I mean, if you look at all the people, you know, like you're never going to see that list. And,
Well, he meant
like it doesn't it seem like kind of like a
What?
it's just a big club and you ain't in it, George Carlin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we're just gonna there's things we're gonna get away with and you're never gonna get away with.
and it seems like that maybe that Elon he finds himself kind of right in the middle because you everybody wonders, is he in the club or is he not in the club? And everybody is, you know, it's kind of it's up for debate, and it's an ongoing conversation in many circles. And yeah, Miss You Too says, Elon. Yeah, we don't know. I mean, I don't know. We've talked about this since the beginning of this show. Where does
I'm
Elon
hard
fall?
on Elon on purpose only, but I'm hard on Elon on purpose.
out of here.
I'm hard on Elon on purpose only because I don't like when people get pedestalized, you know. And a lot of people in my little circle just they don't really, I don't know, they fanboy just a little bit too much, and that's the only reason I go a little hard on Elon. And at the same time, like when you're talking about, I guess I'll say
You should always be critical of everyone.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to
Especially people that have any sort of,
it's just
you know.
fairness. I don't know. I always like to play the counter person whenever I go after things like that. Maybe he's a misunderstood saint from Mars. That's the one hill I'm going to die on purpose.
Well, what was the book that was written where the Elon was the ruler of Mars?
Oh, I'm not aware of this.
I'll have to look it up real quick.
The only thing in my weird ADD brain just hit is Biker Mice from Mars. I don't know if anyone else remembers that or not.
I forget what that was in.
1953.
Here
The
we go.
Martian leader, or the government Martian leader.
Business
Elon.
Insider.
They,
Let's see.
But I mean, this is similar to the Trump book. You've seen that, right?
Yeah, the last president and all that stuff. That's pretty crazy.
Well, there's also the other one that's like where a kid named Trump goes and starts traveling through time and stuff.
The Baron Trump.
Baron Trump, yeah,
And,
the
and
invention
he
of Baron
goes
Trump.
to visit a man named the Donald for advice who lives in a big castle or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's a coincidence, but let's keep on going into
It was the Mars Project. It was, is it Werner von Braun's book, The Mars Project?
Werner von Braun, the same man, featured on Disney Channel quite often.
Von Braun. Yeah, I guess it was Werner von Braun. Yeah, Werner von Braun. He's a German aerospace engineer, and he wrote a book. Basically, he was the lead person who figured out the rocket tech.
The V2.
Yeah, exactly. That's what led us to be able to go to the moon and all this stuff. And he had a book called Mars Project: A Technical Tale, where it was basically where they were setting up how life was going to be on Mars, and the ruler was going to be called the Elon of Mars. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
What's the origin? Like, where's the word Elon come from?
I don't know.
We should look that up.
I don't
Like,
know.
where did they get it from? Maybe his parents were aware of this weird book, and they were like, "We want our kid to be weird."
The origin of Elon. That sounds like it's a Jewish surname.
Okay.
Okay, it's an old one.
Masculine
Elon.
oak tree.
It can be spelled Llon, and it means similar meaning of tree. Okay.
Lion and oak tree and free or tree. So it means tree.
Yeah. So we got Elon here sharing. Somebody else showed us on here Vanity Fair.
Well, doesn't that make sense though? Elon means tree, and how many branches is he making with all these companies?
Yeah.
So I'm
got a lot of them.
trying to go down the Illuminati rabbit hole. I'm trying to go full Eddie Bravo for you.
Well, I mean, you got SpaceX, you got
John.
Tesla, you've got Neuralink, you've got
if I could do that, I would. Make the explain.
No, but seriously, I think you're onto something there, Tim, because you got SpaceX, you've got Tesla, you got the Boring Company, you've got Neuralink, you've got the satellites. What the hell are those things called? Starlink.
Yeah.
Starlink. Well, he was original with was it?
You got
X.com,
PayPal.
which is PayPal.
You got You've got all these different places that things that he's set up, and you're right. It is like branches on a tree.
And almost Twitter.
Yeah, and he's working his way into Twitter right now too. So this is response. Elon says, "Well, asked Vanity Fair why they invited Ghislaine to their Oscar party, so she could photobomb him." And here's this story from Christina here. Maybe she's from Tennessee, Northeast TEN. I don't know, but she says Vanity Fair praised Epstein. She links to an article called "The Talented Mr. Epstein." And if we go on down this thread, Elon says that's interesting. Let's clip more replies, show more replies here.
Reminds me of that film from the 90s, The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Yep.
You know, it kind of makes sense in a sense if you allude those two together.
And let's keep going here for a second though. Elon's parents divorced. Elon grew up with a father that he said was evil. See, now Elon's mother May.
Do we know Elon's father? We have pictures of him.
No, I don't know anything about Elon's father.
Mom, she looks like she is from Mars.
Yeah, she looks like a space lady.
I'll tell you that's the theory I want. I want to for the show. I'm not going to walk around in real life doing this kind of stuff. People think I'm crazy. But for the sake of the show, I'm going to believe that Elon and his whole family is actually from Mars. Came here a long time ago when they destroyed their planet via Thundercats evidence. And now they just want to go back home.
Or are the Anunnaki?
Same
If we
thing.
allude back to some of our other
Could be the same thing.
Elaine
Thundercats are the Anunnaki.
is from Mars. Ghislaine is from Venus. Let's see if we can get down here. We got a
Preposterous.
couple more here. Gosh, there was one other ones here that I wanted to show y'all, but it's making me open each one of them. Well, it's harder finding it on the computer than it is on the phone, but
the opposite.
there are
Twitter's or Instagram's unusable on
It
the
is.
computer.
Yeah, it is.
I think that somebody said they did it on purpose because they don't want you sitting there.
well on the phone I was able to find, and in this thread
Actually, given to your views and stuff, you can make it think that you're using a phone, and you can use it about normal.
Oh, that's cool.
Because it's like you can't upload from a PC, so you have to.
No, it won't.
You have to go in and like switch it and actually make it run in phone mode.
I guess that helps you a
browser.
lot because you probably have pretty big ass pictures.
Yeah, so I have to download everything to my phone and then upload them.
Okay, because I want to do like some cool video editing and stuff for it, but like I suck. So
Well, I always thought it was crazy that like Instagram is a photo sharing app, but you can't take a full screen photo on it for one. You can't take a very high resolution photo on it for another. And three, you can't take a photo camera and put it on your computer and then upload it. So I don't know. It kind of misses the point for me. I've never been big into
I think
Instagram
it's
because
supposed
of
to be
that.
because it's supposed to be Insta. Like they don't want people going back home and they give you 150 filters.
That's what I was going to say. They
want you to use it from
filter it the
phones,
fuck
I
up
guess what
from
I'm
the beginning.
saying.
Yeah, I guess so. But let me at least. I mean, I never was attracted to it because I always it would never even upload a photo as at high quality as I took it. It's like a photo sharing app. It should be
It's how
decent
you get
quality.
better now. I mean, it's still not super great quality. I mean, as shitty as Facebook is, if you actually upload it from PC to Facebook, it's like it actually will give you pretty good quality. But yeah, Instagram doesn't have good quality, but it's always just been. I don't know. I still like it, but it used to be a
I
little
like Instagram
more.
a lot better than Facebook.
I guess because it's just where it's.
It's not because I even like it. It's just necessary for for me to get work and stuff.
Same.
And yeah, definitely for pictures. But I just like these days. It's not even a topic worth even going into. It's just Facebook is such an awful place to hang out on. Like everybody just wants to, everybody's just mad. Let's post all the meanest memes we found. We're so mad.
Usually Instagram's kind of the opposite.
Whereas Instagram is geared to be more happy. Like everybody's showing like the rosiest lenses that they've possibly got.
Even though the people that are running it did change and say it is not a photo sharing app anymore.
Well,
really?
they're trying to compete with
TikTok
TikTok
and shit.
with those,
So you
those
get the
reels and stuff.
which they don't. If you put stills on there, they don't like give you jack crap anymore. But if you throw a 10-second reel going, you get like
yeah.
10,000 views. You're like,
I put one up of me like just showing the inside of like a piano. It's like it's
remember
got like
that one.
15,000 views. But I mean, it's not like it's real views because the way it works is you're just sitting there swiping, and if you like it, you'll go to the next one just like they try to do with TikTok. So it's not people are finding that and going, oh, this guy's interesting. Let's look at his website. So it's not really. I don't know, it's almost like I feel like creators are being blinded into doing weird stuff. Like instead of actually creating stuff, a lot of people are getting convinced, oh man, I got to create the best 8 seconds ever for today and then spend 2 hours doing it because I have to have a hot Instagram account, you know? We got off, sorry.
Well, it's all right. You got to do your thing while I'm looking at Kyle Dunnigan's Instagram. Here.
Okay, well, that was really weird. I thought you was getting, I was like, man, this is a weird time for you to.
I was trying to find Kyle Dunnigan doing Elon Musk Instagram.
I hate reels anyway. It's like I don't like that super short content video like that.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna watch a video. I'm gonna watch a video.
Well, it's run from Vine, pretty much.
Yeah.
I don't know where Vine came from. Vine was Twitter, wasn't it?
No, Vine was its own thing back in
it? Okay, never mind.
like late 2000s, like 09.
Which ain't that crazy that Vine went away, but it was so popular, people make compilations for it on YouTube now, and it's essentially TikTok.
And they're still
going, you know?
Yeah, you don't really see a Vine anymore. And
No, it's completely.
No, Vine's gone.
I mean, but there'd be still people refer to Vine.
It's like MySpace. You saw that meme where someone was like, "What if you had music on our Twitter account?" It's like we finally have a generation that doesn't remember MySpace. So MySpace was like the better, well, not better, but it's just funny the original ones kind of went away.
Zanga.
That's true. Is Zanga gone?
I'm gonna find you this killer robot.
It might still be there. I mean, I haven't looked in many, many years.
Okay.
There we go. We've watched this on the show before. We're gonna watch it again now.
All right, well, I'm gonna take the drink real quick.
All right, well,
and I'm gonna get my little pitch ready before we get. Well, I will do that in segment 2.
Your little pitch. Oh yeah. Did you ever send me that video you wanted me to put on? Okay.
Or no, it's in your Facebook Messenger.
Okay, cool. Okay.
It's my continuing case that cities are terrible.
Yeah.
Well,
Did they even hear that?
No, it's not even gonna let me full screen it. So. Hang on.
The Facebook is mad at us because we're shit talking.
Yeah.
I'm not shit talking Facebook. Well, yeah, I am.
Yeah, you are. That's all right.
You're like, no.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, I am. Never mind.
Yeah. Now I'm
Anybody
shit talk
notice that the Batmobile from 1966 Batman has the Tesla logo on the front of it, or something really similar? It's similar. Look at that on your front. Well, I made him.
This is Kyle Dunnigan comedy. You can watch him on Instagram.
Looks similar to the old Toyota.
If I can get him to show up there. Here we go. Here's Elon. Now they should be able to hear him, but we can't. Oops.
Got pretty weird.
There we go.
So we made a robot here, Tesla Labs. Got pretty weird. Robot became self-aware. And began eating people. Yeah, got very weird. Killer robot got out. Escaped the lab.
He needs much longer pauses.
It will kill us all. It's going to kill us all. We've got a week to live. Week and a half, maybe. So use your time wisely, I would say. Watch Spaceballs. Great movie. Spaceballs. May the Schwartz be with you. So, Happy New Year. This is the last one. Yeah, we're all going to die. Yeah, we're all going to die.
So there's Elon. That's Kyle Dunnigan. You can find him on Instagram or YouTube. He's pretty freaking hilarious. He does some really good Joe Biden videos too, and Donald Trump videos. But let's get into the topics of the night, the conspiracy chart. Has everybody seen this? I was going to show you on the Boston Globe here, but they let me read it on my phone, but on the computer, they want to... on the computer, they want to charge me to be able to look at it. Yeah, so we're gonna look at the conspiracy chart. This was made by Abby Richards.
Say the anti-Semitic point of no return.
Oh yeah. This is by Abby Richards. I'm pretty sure she's from the Boston Globe, and she made her conspiracy theory iceberg here, basically, where we're looking
at... is this a conspiracy believer, or is this somebody...
No, this is somebody... Well, let's look at it and let's see here. We'll start at the bottom.
Because I really don't want to go into this with people thinking that I think all of the madness is real.
Well, that's what this whole little this whole segment is going to be on tonight. We're going to start here at the bottom. We're going to look at this where she shows COINTELPRO. These are things that actually happened according to Abby Richards. We've got Big Tobacco lied about cancer. We've got NSA mass surveillance, Operation Mockingbird, Tuskegee, the FBI spot on John Lennon, MK Ultra, Bohemian Club. And those are all things that we've talked about on this channel. So those are actually things that all did happen, right? Now we've got up here, she goes into the next section. We have questions. Princess Diana, Epstein didn't kill himself, UFOs, Roswell, Area 51, JFK assassination, Marilyn Monroe. Okay, JFK was really assassinated, and Congress found that it was, they did a congressional hearing in the 1980s and found that there actually they studied the acoustics and found that there were more gunshots coming in from
That
one
one
area.
of those weird ones at this point. Like if you deny that there wasn't some tomfoolery involved, at least, then you're you're denying at that point.
Yeah.
Because there was at least some tomfoolery.
Yeah.
Because I'm not saying there was any kind of.
Well, I mean, Oliver Stone's whole back into the left thing. I mean, that's enough that you should be questioning right there, because Oswald shot him from behind and allegedly, according to their story.
Prince Charles vampire. Well, that's pretty good. I mean, that's pretty
But
legit.
here, let's look at these right here, though.
Definition of vampire.
Let's look right here. Here's in the middle, unequivocally false, but mostly harmless. And we've got these things right here. We have questions. These are legitimate things right here, right? That, yeah, we don't have all the answers on these, but we do have questions. Okay, and then we get up here into this one. Avril Lavigne replaced, Elvis lives, Prince Charles the vampire, mattress firm, aliens built Stonehenge.
Where's why did they put Avril Lavigne replaced, but they didn't put Paul McCartney replaced? That's the earliest one, you know.
And they've got Greta Thunberg is a time traveler. Yeah, I don't know about Paul McCartney. You'd think they would put that one on.
That's the most popular one.
Yeah.
I've actually never heard Greta Thunberg being a time traveler.
I
I've just
haven't
heard her, you know, parents using her for an agenda.
We've got cryptids. Those are all things we've talked about on the channel. Loch Ness Monster. We haven't got into Nessie.
That's to say, I don't know about the cryptids being, you know.
But they're putting that under science denial, or no, they're putting that under science denial, right? Leaving reality is Epstein didn't kill himself. Princess Diana was assassinated. Which
I thought that was the speculation.
well, you got like
that's speculation is what they're saying, and when you leave reality, is when you start saying
gotcha.
still alive.
Gotcha. Okay, so the anti-Semitic point of return is up at the top.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
the next science dial is anti-vax,
Okay.
5G, chemtrails.
So we'll get into some of that too, because we got the jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams. Okay, it doesn't. They say that was the ultimate straw
Finland
man.
doesn't
It
exist.
feels
There was an Asheville.
spicy kerosene.
There was an Asheville, North Carolina doesn't exist conspiracy.
Oh, really? Yeah, you were telling me about that.
I don't know if that was a troll or not, but
I remember hearing something of that.
But I guess the one of the first things that catches my point. I mean, up at the top here too, you've got deep state. Okay, there is a deep state. It's an administrative state. It's a bureaucratic
this
state.
is cracking me up.
And and it says you're essential oils or cure all illness, chemtrails, dangerous to yourself and others. Okay, if you look out in the fucking sky and you notice, like we grew up in the 80s and 90s, guys, and when you saw these jet contrails in the 80s and 90s, we know the difference between what we were seeing there
About that long.
and what we see now. Yeah, and you can't tell me there was not a difference. That's the ultimate fucking gaslighting, is saying that we're imagining these things. Like, if for anybody who never knows, like, a lot of people misuse the term gaslighting. They use it to describe any kind of being dishonest or trying to trick you, and it's not necessarily it's become more of a catch-all, but it comes from the film from the 50s, gaslighting, where a man the film is called Gaslighting. The man is trying to convince he's trying to
It's a band, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. I got confused.
to convince his wife that she's crazy. Yeah,
Keep
so when he
changing
starts
the color of the bulb out.
yeah, he turns them down, and so she says, "Light getting a little dim." She's like, no, honey,
He turned it, like, he changed the color at one point. Like, he changed it from, like, orange to green or something,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken.
Let's-
Or I'm full of crap, because it's been a long time ago since I've seen that.
Well, but anyway, the point is he's tampering with reality and then telling her she's crazy, making her question her own sanity by changing it in a way that she knows it's been changed, but he won't admit to it. So he was trying to fuck with her head, and that's what I feel like that's happening here with these contrails, is that they're fucking with our heads over it. Because
Hey, Sean, do you remember in the movie Gaslighting if he changes the color of the bulb, if it's just the...
it's a gaslight. It's no bulb.
I'm pretty sure there's a backlight behind the thing that he was changing.
Okay. Well, anyway, the idea is that you're basically changing what people see, and then they telling them they're crazy when they point it out to you.
Yeah.
It's
Like, you're the one creating the craziness.
yeah,
like,
it's psychological
messing with their
control
head,
technique, and that's ultimately what he's doing, and that's what I feel like this is too.
Don't remember
Close
it.
this up.
That's all right. I'll just believe what I want. He changed it red.
All right then, neon. So on the conspiracy chart, we've got, but I think that's a very similar thing as where the chemtrails are. And then you've got up here.
It was in black and white, so yeah, there you go. I got the color thing wrong. If it wasn't even in color.
And then also up here you've got COVID-19 made in a lab under science denial. Okay, didn't we already come to the conclusion like that's happened now, right?
Yeah, that's
even YouTube will let you say that it was created in a lab now because it's been unequivocally.
It really seems like somebody who's very to me, not even just being like let's rage about how much is wrong with it. Just really like, I can tell by looking at this that this is an outsider that did very little research.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many people do you know that are into conspiracies that also think essential oils cure all the illnesses? That's like the people that you would hang out, like, that's not like my witchy friends at like Atlantis and Johnson City that are into like homeopathy and stuff. And those people are into conspiracies, but that's like a subset. So I feel like what a lot of people that are, I guess, I don't know, like skeptics or whatever of conspiracy, whatever you call it, they do a lot of conflating. They think it's just a group of people that all look like flat Earth conventions. They don't understand that there's subgroups of little conspiracy pockets everywhere.
Well, here's one of the things I think is funny though, is because so many of these like anti-vaxxers, like, okay, well I think we've been
What?
soy boys. Okay, eating too much soy does cause you to create estrogen, which will grow boobs and shrink your testicles. That's not a going off the deep end of conspiracy world. That's something that really happens.
Weird the stuff that they're picking. I'm just pointing out that whoever made this is very much on the outside, very much has a negative viewpoint. Which, I mean,
well, yeah,
whatever.
but I think the funny thing is, like, here in the middle, here in the middle, though, you have these kind of like, okay, you've got Avril Lavigne in place. The Beatles never existed. Crop circles. Greta
the Beatles
Thunberg.
never existed isn't a real one.
Yeah,
It's
I've
Paul
never heard
McCartney
that.
died and they replaced it.
I've never heard that
That's
either.
what I'm saying.
But then up here, you've got real stuff, man. You've got George Soros. Okay, we just got the word George Soros. He is a real person.
Who admits to fucking with currencies.
He's a literal.
Hiding.
He's been kicked out of countries for
one that we
manipulating
talk about
currencies.
often, you know?
Yeah, the Illuminati. That's
It's
real.
like that's if you look at it just under a factual thing, it is a legit group.
New World Order. How many videos have we done where we showed leaders saying the New World Order and talking about how we're all going to be under this New World Order? Bill Gates microchipping.
Like, I really think this is like, there's two levels of unhealthy, okay? Now, I really do feel like, and I'm not going to point one out because I don't want to step on people's toes because I know people that believe some of this. I really do feel like when you get up into some of these, that, like, you are getting out there because, like, you can't believe every conspiracy that comes down the line.
Look at this one. Celebs moisturize with children's foreskin. Sandra Bullock is on the Ellen show.
That it's true, though.
She's on the Ellen show doing that. So she's got this on the world. You know, you once you believe one, you believe most. Get help. Well, one, I don't believe flat Earth, and I don't know about reptilian overlords. I'm starting to wonder more every day. But you know, Holocaust denial. I'm not into all that. But a lot of this stuff.
Mars slave colony. That's
Mars
not
slave
yet.
colony.
That's
I mean, but how would we
That's
know?
why we're going to start sending prisoners.
How would we know if there was a Mars slave colony?
That's what we're going to do. We're going to start banishing people to Mars, like Brave New World. We find out they're broken and can't live in society, so we launch them to Mars to mine gold.
But if you'll notice up here, though,
like a whole planet of
and then they're going to take over
New York.
Yeah, it'll be like that weird planet on Running Man where your head blows up if you go over the gate too fast or whatever.
what was that? Oh yeah. Where they were at the prison and they were trying to break the guy out at the beginning. Running Man, that's a good one, man. That's one of my favorites. Is that Running Man or is that Total Recall?
No, Running Man is the one. Is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because the red planet.
Yeah, well, that's a good example of.
I'm telling you, that's where we're heading.
Because if you look at the
We're gonna
beginning of
see
that
people die on
movie, you
TV.
remember Arnold Schwarzenegger's character. He's in the military, right? And there's a food riot, and he's flying the helicopter, and they tell him to open
Take 'em
fire
out, yeah.
on him, and he's like, "No, I won't do it." And so what do? They arrest him and have somebody else open fire on the food riot and then blame him for it. And that's how he gets sentenced to
and then they make a fake video proving that he did it using, I guess what you'd call deepfake technology today is what they use to make it.
And then at the end of the movie, if you remember, spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen The Running Man after 40 years, it's about time to if you haven't seen it. But at the end of the movie, they make the fake video of him getting killed because none of the guys can kill him. Remember? So they have one of the guys there at the end.
Who was it? Do you remember?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Jesse Ventura.
Was it? The
pretty sure.
sexual Tyrannosaurus. You're right, it was. He was like the main guy, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like the Captain
I'm
America.
exposing the Illuminati for the frauds there are. It's like you're one of them. He has to be. If the
I'm an Illuminati Tyrannosaurus.
It's like
he says Epstein parties going.
it's like Running Man and Predator. This is a weird sequel. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he went from exposing the Illuminati to backing the Illuminati. He's been very quiet
I'm saying, if
about
it's all real.
the COVID regime and
If it's real, he's
supporting.
controlled opposition.
Oh yeah, well he supported everybody getting vaxxed and following the mask mandates and giving the government basically unfettered authority over us over COVID. So he's definitely fallen a long way from being the anti-Illuminati Tyrannosaurus.
you know, like the rubber
Well, he
horse head.
probably ran out of money. Needs to try the other
Could
grift
be.
now. What now?
Okay, instead of wearing a rubber horse head, he wears a rubber T-Rex
He's that
head.
T-Rex suit, and he runs and chases these women down after him.
So the point I was making was showing this conspiracy chart here.
Do it.
God, it would sound like that. The what's that thing's name on Labyrinth? The thing that can call the rocks. Ludo. It's Ludo. That's what Jesse Ventura in that T-Rex suit, amorously chasing down his wife would sound like. Anyway, adrenochrome.
An amorous
Real or not?
Tyrannosaurus. He really would be the sexual Tyrannosaurus.
That's what I'm saying. That's his kink.
Yeah. So I guess the point I was making of showing this chart is we're looking at in this. You got like real stuff down here at the bottom. You got in the middle, and then you got like up here at the top. They include several real things in with the things that are kind of crazy sounding. But if you look at this, you can see what we're talking about. Like Obama birth certificate fake. Like, dude, I don't know where Obama was really born. I'm not going to say that I know, but I know that one that they released was a edited Photoshop version, and it was easy to prove that. So that it was fake. And what was the funniest thing is like, they said, well, we'll show you once and for all. We'll drop the birth certificate. And then they dropped a fake one. And it's like you can't even say anything at that point because they're like, what? You're going to say it's fake now? It's like, yes.
Do you think that's not reverse tactics?
Yes, I do think it's reverse
Like, 'cause
tactics.
here's what I think. I think Obama was a legal citizen, just under the law that if his mom was an American
mom was an
citizen,
American
was
citizen, he
in
should be,
Hawaii
yeah.
at the time, he is a legal citizen.
right.
And so I'm saying is like, you don't think that maybe the CIA would just to F with people, be like, maybe we should make them think his birth certificate's fake, and then even though instead of releasing, put a photoshopped awful looking thing
Yeah.
out there just to make them lose their head.
Yeah, that
I
could have
think
been
that's
it.
what they do.
Yeah, that could have been it. Because, yeah, like you said, his mom, Ann Durham, she was an American citizen. So Obama should have been an American citizen no matter where he was born, right? I mean, in that, but they did put out that birth certificate that.
We can't talk about this one, period, or YouTube will kick us, and the government will black bag us and kill us. But we can talk about that one off thing because it's people misunderstand that one. I think a lot of times what happens with some of these conspiracies, if I can like be a good middleman for here a minute, some of this stuff they conflate. They make it bigger than it really is. Like I'm just trying to find one that makes sense. Like let's see. Oh, motherfucker. Well, I can't really think of it. I just feel like aliens built Stonehenge. Like, do you like?
Well,
You
again,
know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even grouping myself in this cluster of pyramids to say that I believe all of this or even 80% of it. I'm just saying, just by looking at this, the person that did this was lazy.
again, that's no. I think they did it. I think they did this intentionally. I don't think it's just laziness.
Okay,
or
they did a random number generator.
You don't think that they wanted to present something?
Yes, I do.
That's
I
what
think
I think
that's
they
what I think.
want
I think
people
they
to believe.
wanted to give you these right here, right? These are okay to believe. This right here, this is kind of crazier sounding stuff, right? So anything past this, the purple part, leaving reality, must be really crazy. And then they put legitimate things in science denial and the anti-Semitic point of no return, as if you believe some of these things up here, then you must be anti-Semitic. When I mean, what does Bill Gates microchipping have to do with anti-Semitics? What is New
I think
World
they're
Order?
saying that ultimately, once you cross the anti-Semitic point, Because let's be honest, let's not try to pretend
Subliminal
like there's not a
messages
lot
from
of
ruling
anti-Semitic-
classes on children's TV. I mean, all of advertising and marketing is subliminal messages. That's all they do. That's all they teach.
Do you think like, man? I was watching. There's a channel called Buzzer. If you go like to your TV, because there's just all these weird channels you can find just for free on your smart TV now.
Yeah.
There's a channel called Buzzer, and if I was really going to rename it, it would be called the Match Game 76 channel. They literally just play Match Game all day, and then it'll switch to like the Newlywed Show for a while, and then there's some weird ones like Celebrity Pyramid and stuff. But it's pretty much Match Game all day.
Right.
And you can watch as the 70s were loose, and they were like openly drinking on the set, and everybody was hugging, and like it was like all the races were mixing. It was just not awkward at all. And you can watch in the 80s, and this is I'm breaking the topic. The right started cancel culture. Because in the 80s episode, you can watch, what's his name? Gene Rayburn. He's stiff as a board all the time because he's afraid to say anything because he's an older dude at this point. There's several of the people that just make, like, even dumb jokes, like, by today's standards, like, they're like, really? Like, or like somebody made a Reagan joke, or it was Gene Rayburn makes a Reagan joke, and the whole audience groans like he had just said he supported rape or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, the overreaction really was there, and I was like, oh my god, I forgot about this, or wasn't alive at the time.
We were
The
tying it
right
in.
started cancel culture.
What's his name? The host from
Or rather being
from
offended.
Family Feud, Richard Dawson. He was also the host on the Running Man, the game show.
Yeah, there you go. There's a
So,
good
so you
connection.
didn't take it too far off topic there, but yeah, we did see that, and I think the cancel culture that we saw in the 80s, that was part of the satanic panic that they talked about on there. And I've said in previous episodes, I think the right was right about a lot of the things in the 80s. They were just wrong with the solutions. They thought using the government as the heavy hand of government to try to solve these problems was the way to get around it, and that's why you had the backlash against all of these things that they were right about. Like, we made fun of them in the 80s and 90s, and like these fucking retarded right wingers and their attack on music and stuff, rather than they were actually pointing out some valid criticisms, but they went about them in such a way that made people rebel against it, and made us rebel against it.
Well, I think what they do is they poison the pot.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like you were showing the pyramid, like some of that stuff's actually believable, but then as soon as like if you go to work and you start talking about, you say something that's kind of tame, like, hey, I think maybe the first couple of moon landings may not have been real, right? People won't judge you too harshly.
Yeah.
But you're getting into a time where, like, as soon as you say, like, hey, you want to go maybe hunt for Bigfoot, they're like, oh my god,
This guy's
he thinks
fucking nuts.
JFK's
Yeah.
alive and is pulling the strings
Yeah.
behind the curtain. Like, they automatically assume that if you believe anything, that they put you on one side of the fence and they give you all these conspiracies that go with it. Like, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was about to go in a totally different way, but that conspiracy
go for it.
chart that showed Elvis being alive is one of the ones that's mostly harmless. But I got to thinking, like,
Bubba Hotep.
if exactly, if Elvis was alive, he probably wouldn't go around dressed as Elvis, right? So all these people saying they saw Elvis.
He'd be in a nursing home with JFK's implanted brain.
Yeah.
And they would be, hunting.
Sean says, I used to watch Sally Jesse Raphael's show and the other daytime talk shows just for the satanic cult abduction stories. Yeah, we those were pretty wild. And then you had Unsolved Mysteries, and like I said, a lot of people talk about that stuff like it never happened, but it did happen, and I know people personally who were involved with it, and have worked with people who were involved with it, and we just had the story last week, on the News and Current Events Roundup on Wednesday. Tim and I talked about a story out of Salt Lake City where Utah County, Utah sheriff was seeking answers for a ritualistic sex trafficking from the 1990s and the 2000s. Well, guess what happened right after that? We aired our broadcast on Wednesday. The city attorney for that, or the county attorney for that county, he did a press conference saying, I just wanted everybody to know that I've been investigated for this and blah 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 blah. I didn't do this, right? And saying that he brought in cannibalism, brought up ritualistic cannibalism, and the
Well, hell, they're doing it openly in Hollywood now.
Well, he brings this up, and this was the county attorney said he had been implicated in it. Well, then the sheriff comes out with a press conference right after that and says, no, we didn't say that. And the county attorney has just poisoned our investigation by naming names. We don't name names of victims. We don't name names of accusers. We'd ask anybody to come forward. We've had like 30 people come forward already. And then this attorney is poisoning the pot by putting this video out where he's saying he's named in it. And so that seems pretty sketchy to me, man, that that he probably is trying to get ahead of something. We'll just have to keep watching this, but I thought that was an interesting development in that story, and there's nobody talking about that in mainstream press. It's not been national news. And oddly enough, I picked it up from WJHL, was where I originally found that story. So well, hopefully we'll see more from that, and they'll get some of these fucking perverts and satanic kitty rapers and all that stuff.
Well, the satanic panic, the reason it never was taken seriously, even though there actually was evidence that they were, I don't know, devil worshiping in Hollywood or something. The reason it was never taken seriously because the people that were pointed out were also the same people that were like protesting abortion clinics. And you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like the Westboro Baptist Church. If they were right about something, you would never listen to them.
Right.
They already ruined their credibility.
Yeah, good point. Well, I think that's enough for now. We're at 11 o'clock, so let's go ahead and get into Weird Al Capone.
Weird Al Capone. It sounds like a weird character.
Now, I've shared some of these stories here in the description, so you can go into some of these and find them yourself. There's a lot of stuff on it. People have been talking in Johnson City, Tennessee, where we're from, for a long time about Al Capone having lived here or having stayed here sometime. There is a great site called Johnson's Depot, and you can go to State of Franklin. It used to be johnsonsdepot.com, I think, but you have to go to, I think, stateoffranklin.net now to find this. But you can get some old photos from Johnson City in the 1920s and 1940s, and some of these buildings where Capone was supposed to have hung out. So let's find these real quick. We've got the John Sevier Hotel.
Where's this at? The city now?
John Sevier Hotel. This is.
I didn't recognize it now. Yeah,
this is still here.
Lower income people live.
Yeah, it's still here today. We talked about in.
What do they want to do with that?
They are moving all the low income people out of there, and they are going to be remodeling the whole place. They're building a new place for them down on South Road, and they're going to. Miss U2 says SRA J. Parker explains it all. Satanic ritual abuse. Yeah, thank you for that, Miss U2. Check that out, J. Parker. So this is the John Sevier Center. This hotel is still here today. They got a lot of low income people here. They're moving them out and going to put them on a different place, and they're going to remodel this place and make it kind of a more high end place. But it's got the best views in town. I think Tim said before that he thinks. That's the reason somebody decided they can't have all these homeless people or these poor people having the best views in town.
Go down here to the side. I want to see if you can see because I'm pretty sure if you look at where the corner meets, I'm pretty sure this is where. Does it go over any? I'm trying to see if the original building for where this is where Johnson City Brewing Company is now. Is that little
this
corner
is right here? Yeah, this is it right here.
It's across the street.
No, it's this way.
Are you sure?
Yeah. No, I'm not sure, but I think it is. Because I think this is the back of what was the Blue Moon Dinner Theater.
Yeah,
this is Main Street right here. This is Roan Street.
I'm looking at it from the wrong angle, I bet.
This is Roan Street right here.
Roan Street.
This is Main Street back here.
That's where Main Street Pizza would be.
I got you. Oh, so this is Main Street Pizza.
No, Main Street Pizza is right off camera. It'd be across from this. So the Johnson City Brewing would be over on this side of the street right up here.
It would be this building.
Yeah, it'd be right here on this corner. That's where Johnson City Brewing Company would be.
Across the street here.
Main Street would be right over here, over off the screen.
Man, that building looks different though. Like this all looks kind of the same, but they've changed these quite a bit.
Well, that's one of the places where Capone is rumored to have spent time. There are stories that he would come in and reserve a whole building or whole floor. This was a hotel at the time. It's now an apartment complex, but it was a hotel at the time, and he would come in and rent out a whole floor of this place. And everybody was supposed to keep it hush hush that he was there, and while he was in town. Now, why would Capone have been in town? Well, there was a large, and I've included a video in the description of this from Wheelock Whiskey. Wheelock Whiskey, they started it up last year. His ancestors owned a store at L&H Grocery in Johnson City, where there was a lot of activity. There was a speakeasy. There were a lot of busts. Those Wheelocks were arrested all the time for their involvement in trafficking booze and stuff. And this was during Prohibition, during the 1920s, after they. The nationwide, it was very hard to find alcohol of any kind that you could drink nationwide. There were a few exceptions. You could get like a doctor's note, stuff like that. Well, these people at L&H Grocery, they got busted bringing in a whole bunch of Jamaican ginger, which was 80% alcohol. And it was, you've ever heard of the Jake leg? They called it Jake. Well, people got the Jake leg from drinking this shit, and a bunch of people got in Johnson City, and there's a record of a lot of people getting that stuff in Johnson City. There's a record of a big Jamaican ginger bust. So, Mr. Wheelock, who is opening Wheelock Whiskey, he made a really good video on YouTube. I linked it in the description, and you can check that out, where he shows that Elliot Ness and the federal government were after Capone in his major operating city in Chicago and also in Cincinnati, and there was also a link between that and Johnson City, as Johnson City was halfway on the railroad between Miami and Chicago. So there was, these rumors didn't just come out of nowhere either, because there was a lot of porters and people who lived on basically a lot of the service class who were black people at the time who lived in Johnson City. They were unloading the railroad cars. They were delivering the milk. They were, the bartenders and the servers. And
speaking of railroad, that's literally right in that area. So.
And that's where all these stories came from. So it's not like people just like wanted something cool to tie Johnson City up. No, it's because people were telling these stories.
That makes a lot of sense now. We start talking about the railroad and stuff and how close the proximity of that building and the railroad station, because there's that produce shop right there that has the railroad go right by it.
Well, it's like where
is the square. I wonder if that railroad track square is there.
Park and stuff in Johnson City now. Like
that square.
Like where they build it by
Universal Center. You know what I'm talking about.
Now this, you can barely see it right here, but the Windsor Hotel, it used to be also the Purdue Hotel. This is where Capone is said to have actually spent a lot of time. Or this might be the Windsor right here. Yeah, this is the Windsor. So the Windsor got destroyed by fire and torn down. But
there's a speakeasy called the Windsor over there now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been.
And it's named after that legend there. And we see this guy who Alan Bridwell, who did this site here at WestJohnsonsDepots.com. Now it's stateoffranklin.net. He seems to think he compiled a lot of stories about people who did who he found out where these stories about Capone came from, basically, and put them all down. And he compiled all this stuff here on this site. From Johnson City. We've got also, we saw a story from WJHL where they had interviewed Tom Lee, who we need to interview. I've got his number, met this guy, and he said he'd be willing to come on the show about some of this stuff. So,
these north side's been there, the south side, north side's been there that long?
I don't know, is that the same north side school?
Stateoffranklin.net.
Yep.
That's funny. I think I looked at the wrong one. There was another one that had a car in it. But
Al Capone in Little Chicago, there's many stories around the Windsor Hotel. It was basically supposed to be a melting pot, and had various times of vice going on, that not necessarily just gambling, or not necessarily just drinking, but we've also got this lady. She is anonymous, which she calls herself Mary, and it kind of lends a little credence to her story, because according to her, a lot of people in Johnson City at the time got pretty wealthy off of the illegal booze trade, right? And they didn't necessarily, after Prohibition was repealed, they didn't necessarily want everybody in Johnson City to know that they got rich from breaking the law. So, yeah. So, like Joe Kennedy, bootlegging booze. So, yeah, so basically, this lady, she says her family worked with the Capones. And, we got chats here from talking about the old buildings and the cars. And
Sean live?
Sean is in, Sean, you're in Oregon, aren't you?
Oh, well, you're out there, aren't you?
I think so.
I'm thinking about heading out to Oregon at some point because it's dry, and everything weird's legal out there. So why not just have my own stuff, like a little what do you call it, Amsterdam experience, United States.
Washington.
End up under a bridge, reach my lowest rock bottom point.
There you go. It's a good place to do it. Aberdeen. Oh, you're from Washington, Sean. Okay,
down by the-
gotcha. I remember you were on the West Coast. But this is from the Johnson
I have
City
no
Press.
jokes about Washington. Seems pretty normal place.
Everybody's send Sean a 30-round magazine.
Well, Sean.
Or they're illegal in Washington.
Well, you're in Washington State, and I guess a lot of people don't know this, but our rainfall is about the same as Washington. So anywhere not in your neck of the woods or our part of Appalachia is actually drier. I'm used to going anywhere and it being drier than here. It rains all the time in our part of Tennessee.
Yeah. We are actually almost considered a rainforest, technically.
But Mary's story here, her father, she loved a good card game, and he routinely met at a hotel with his friends to play cards. And he remembered some men who he found out were Capone's bodyguards who were regulars in the card game whenever they were in town. This was in the 1920s, from 21 to 26. And Mary further explained that Daddy said Capone's boys, as he called them, came after dark and played several hands and then left, and they were never seen in the daytime, and everything was done quietly with as little fanfare as possible. Well, according to Mary, one day Frank got the surprise of his life because Al Capone just walked in on him one day, and he played a few hands with him. He didn't say that Al Capone spoke to him or anything, and that was the only time he ever talked to him. But it also says that Mary learned later that Capone routinely ran alcohol from Newland, North Carolina to Johnson City along a 44-mile stretch of two-lane dirt road. If you've ever been up to Newland, Elk Park, North Carolina, right across the border there, that would make sense because alcohol was illegal. There was a spotlight on Chicago and Cincinnati and Miami, and here was a place right in the middle for him. There was all kinds of moonshine flowing out of the hills, all over the place here. So it was an easy place to pick up some booze and fill in with the bootlegging. So and Mary then went on when she in 46. She said her family went on to Miami Beach, as we often did, and they visited Palm Island, where Al Capone was very sick and near death. Now, I always thought Al Capone died in prison, but actually, when I've read this, I started looking it up a little bit. And Capone, he was in Atlanta, right? He got syphilis.
Yeah, the narrative is he died of syphilis in Alcatraz.
Well, that's what I always thought too. But he got syphilis at an early age and went untreated for most of his life. But he was when he got arrested and actually finally put in prison for tax fraud because they couldn't get him on all the bootlegging and stuff. They got him on with the IRS. They put him in Atlanta Federal Penitentiary, and he got treated really well in there. And they ended up moving him to Alcatraz because he had so many connections in Atlanta, which would make sense if he's running a network from Miami to Chicago. Atlanta was right in the middle of that, and Johnson City would fall right in there too. So he gets treated so well, and then Mr. Wheelock, if you'll watch some of this stuff in that's in the description, if you'll click on some of those links, you'll see Mr. Wheelock, who of Wheelock's Whiskey, his great grandfather actually was interviewed in, I think it was Johnson City Chronicle at the time, and he was talking about how he ran into Capone in Atlanta, and everybody took good care of him. The Capone took care of everybody else, and you'd never know he was a gangster if you didn't know. Well, he went into Alcatraz. And as he had such bad syphilis, he actually got granted an early release, and they treated him in the early 40s, and they treated him with penicillin for his syphilis, but it was too far progressed to really, to help him, but it did prolong his life and slow down the syphilis, but it was already in his brain and stuff, and they said he had the brain of about a 12-year-old by the time.
How old was he, though?
This was, let's see, well, Capone was in his 40s at the time. And they said he had the brain of about a 12-year-old where the syphilis had eaten his brain, I guess.
Zombies.
Yeah. But Mary, she says that they went to Palm Island, and they went, and her father went and visited Al Capone. Basically, he was sitting out in his lawn chair by the pool while he was dying, and everybody knew he was dying. So it's like time to come and kiss the ring for everybody that had made him made very wealthy. He died in 47 when he was 40. He was 48 years old. So Mary's story The person who interviewed her for the Johnson City Press obviously believes it. And it seems pretty credible to me. Everything lines up. Mary told this story before you could go on the internet and research all this shit. So when I go and I look at her story and I research everything that she said, it lines up with everything that I find as I look this up.
Proximity makes sense. Johnson City was the biggest place at the time with the railroad coming in, electricity. The mountains were full of Scots-Irish people making moonshine that they could turn into their mixed drinks and stuff. It really does make a whole lot of sense that this is where they would be sourcing a lot of their liquor. Or spirit, I guess you would call it.
And here we got the some pictures of the underground storage, storage passageways and water pumps that were rumored in downtown Johnson City. Anybody who's spent much time in Johnson City knows, the bar owners and people who own those stores has probably been under some of these things and seen they're all connected. A lot of people say that was because they were speakeasies. Now there's some buildings. I don't know if I want to say which ones, but I've gone into some buildings in downtown Johnson City. There's still a speakeasy there. So it's pretty interesting.
I just had a funny connection. They brought up, Sean brought up the Capone's vault. Mm-hmm. Capone's has a vault.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. Yeah. Oh man, I never even realized that's why they call it the vault. So the Capone's in Johnson City, they have a vault.
It's a dance club.
It's a dance club. Yeah.
The vault.
Yeah. My wife calls it the butt rubbing room.
That makes a lot of sense. I never put that together. That's definitely why they call it that.
That was definitely a lot.
Okay, if anybody's not been to Capone's, it's out of state. Capone's is a bar. You got the bar on this side. You have the entertainment venue on this side. It has decently sized bands. In the very back, there's a dance club that you go down, and it's called the Vault.
Yeah.
I never put that together. That's why they called it that.
I didn't either.
Yeah, me neither.
That's pretty clever.
B calls it the butt rubbing room because you got
It's pretty butt rubbing.
bunch of college kids in there rubbing butts on each other.
Well, it's not so hopping these days. It's mostly just girls. Just girls in there dancing because everybody's at home playing Call of Duty.
Incels, now's your chance. Get off that Call of Duty and go down to the butt rubbing room. Now, let's see. Let's look at this.
That's a whole other conversation, isn't it?
Here's from April 7th from 1929. Miss U2 says that's very interesting about Capone's. Sean says Western Washington is super wet in winter, but summers are normally very dry. We're having a super wet spring. We're having kind of a dry spring for us, aren't we?
Man, it's rained for 2 weeks straight. What are you talking about?
My ground's still pretty dry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's many raids on speakeasies in Johnson City. A dragnet spread about bootlegger establishment in Johnson City during the past week by federal, state, and city officers netted almost a score. That's almost 20 arrests, and many of the prisoners were given preliminary hearings and sent to county jail in Jonesboro. They found 720 bottles in one place, 225 bottles of brew in another.
So Jonesboro's connected?
And they busted them on. No, that's just where they went to jail.
Okay, I got you.
But yeah, they found, so there's about 1,000 bottles right there that they found on this one article in 29. So the booze was definitely going through there. It was definitely around for Capone to have, and there was all the reason in the world for him to be there. Mm-hmm. So it only makes sense. There may be no definitive proof, but I think that we've got some pretty good circumstantial evidence that so many people were telling stories about it all at the same time,
and it just makes
and it all
sense.
fits all the historical record that we have. Yeah, there's no proof. But
Dude, I remember when I was 18 and I first started playing the bars in downtown Johnson City, the homeless people would tell you about it. Mm-hmm. Hey, I was like their conversation starter, trying to get like a quarter out of it. They'd be like, hey, Al Capone used to hang out in these towns. That's the first time I heard those rumors was from the panhandlers.
Yeah, well, I've heard that forever.
Guitar Dan, rest in peace.
Oh, Guitar Dan. Throwing his jackets upstairs.
Dancing Steve's dead too, isn't he?
I was gonna mention something. Remember whenever Drew, his first experience, Danzig Steve?
Danzig Steve's looking badass. Danzig Steve.
I remember my first experience with him. He came into a Decade show and did interpretive dance to
What's up, Yeti?
bar tracks.
Hey, Miss Maximus. Nice to have you join us, man. So, Yeti, we got another tune we're fixing to record here, if you didn't see earlier in the show. So we'll send that over to you, see if I can get your approval. I always felt very, Yeti, I got to tell you, man, whenever I would go out to a show, and I was always excited when Yeti would come out because I respect him as a musician and as a consumer of music too. So I always liked to get his opinion on stuff, but he would come out to a show and I would play guitar and I'd be singing and stuff, and Yeti would be sitting here. would always feel very nervous if I was pleasing the Yeti. Yes. So I'll have to send one over for his approval there.
Finally got to catch one.
Finally got to catch a live one and just got joined. Well, thank you for just getting joined, and we're fixing to finish it up here, but I'm so glad that you did. And we were just talking about Johnson City and Al Capone, and we got into the conspiracy thing, the conspiracy chart here, the iceberg, I guess you could call it.
Well, we need to do that's the conspiracy pyramid. We could do the conspiracy iceberg at some point. There's several of those, which I think, I'm surprised she didn't, because I think what she did, whoever wrote the pyramid, was just look at the iceberg and pick out some of the crazy ones. I'm surprised I didn't see Guy Fieri as a fire demon. That's in there too.
I can see that though.
Fire demon all the way to Flavor Town.
You know, they had Hollow Earth, but they didn't have what's it called? Nazi zombies.
They had Nazis on the moon though.
Oh, they did, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yet he said, no, I'm no one special, but I was listening to that 3-song basement recording I did for you guys a while back. Yeah, dude, we never did anything with that. And we did put it on Bandcamp.
Made a few sales off of it every now and then.
Yeah, actually, Yeti, I should tell you, we got $3 because somebody just happened across our Bandcamp and just bought that the other day. We moved most of our music to DistroKid, and we kind of forgot about the Bandcamp. But then I got a notification that we had $3 in our Bandcamp bank account. So somebody found it. No, yeah, but yeah, I always did. You know, you watch other musicians, you watch what they're doing, they watch you, and you kind of judge each other to a degree, or maybe not judge each other.
You know that knows what you're doing.
Exactly, and maybe not judge each other, but like, yeah, exactly. You
always that best form of approval when you get that nasty, that face out of them.
So you know what I'm talking about, Yeti. I'm sure you've done the same thing.
$3 high rollers, yes we are. That's the Pillbilly way.
Listen, that's right. Naming the next album, $3
high roller. Hell yeah, that might be his album right there.
That definitely needs to be a song at least.
Yeah, for sure. Yeti, I'll give you the chance to write that one, but yeah, that was a good one for sure. That'd be a good title.
Before we go out, and you're welcome to continue your Capone if you need it, I need to show you all the video because it takes
we got to do that.
Place in Chicago.
Yeah, we got to do that.
So there you go. There's your tie-in, Al Capone.
You said it's
Chicago.
in my Facebook Messenger.
It's in the Cliff one.
All right.
I don't know if you got that.
Yeah, I'll have to go over here to.
Because this takes place. Do you want me to set it up? Is that what we're doing right now?
Yeah, go ahead. Set it up.
The setup here is I want to do a running section called "Cities Are the Real Problem," and if you want to live in a giant city, now this is satirical, so if you really take me seriously, go watch a different show. I want to laugh.
Climate free.
The idea is that cities are already at a point that they're like Escape from New York or Escape from LA. I don't mean like all like Johnson City, but I mean like New York City, Chicago. I'm sorry, I wasn't impressed. They're awful. And so with this video I want to show here. Just is it up? Can they see this yet?
Not yet.
All right, well, when it gets there, I'll show you. I found this video just I thought it was funny watching it, but I want to pick this video apart. So if you're gonna get mad about me stopping the video, I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop it a couple of times to point out some pretty arbitrary stuff that I think I'm right about.
Okay.
So without further ado, Cliff, whenever you want to show the video,
here we go.
The video is called "Giving Flowers to Customers in Chicago."
Hey, how's it going, my boy? Hey, you can have this flower too. What's this for?
Yeah, what the fuck you giving me this for?
I'm just feeling good today.
You think I'm a bitch or something, bro?
What you mean? It's just a flower.
What the fuck I'm gonna do with this flower, Joe?
You don't want no flower? Smell it. Smell it.
Pause
Smell
it for a second,
flower.
please.
Give it to your girlfriend.
What's his shirt say?
Equality.
Is he not displaying blatant homophobia? Right?
Yep.
All right, keep going. Quality my ass.
Why you so amused? You don't want no flower?
Hell no, motherfucker.
I'll take it. Someone will appreciate it.
Someone will appreciate it.
You ever go on boss and I'll give you these flowers for free.
Now, go ahead and pause it for a second before he gives this reaction. The man is behind bulletproof glass, all right? And he has to spin the Snickers bar to him on like a lazy Susan, also encased in plexiglass. And I've been in gas stations like this. It's not comforting to know the dude back there thinks you have a 9 when you walk in.
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead and play. Sorry.
Fuck wrong with you, man?
Me, yo.
Fuck wrong with you, man?
You just destroyed the
Think I'm
flowers.
soft or something? fucking bitch.
You just destroyed your flower.
Yo, they're just flowers.
Fuck out of here, man. Ain't no bitch.
They're just
Soft-ass
flowers, bro. I
motherfucker.
promise you, they're just
Man,
flowers.
you soft ass motherfucker. Bet you won't come from behind that glass.
What you mean? I'm just saying, they're flowers. There's nothing wrong with them.
Fuck wrong with you, man?
Why you getting so pressed over
Pay for
flowers?
my motherfucking flowers, man. Pay for my fucking Snickers, man. Fuck wrong with you?
Now, I need one more person before you stop, before you go. Like, this is the response to flowers. The next lady is the one that is really going to make you go, oh, because you don't have to watch it. If you want to, you can look this up yourself. I don't even know what the channel is. But my point here is, he gives them a flower and they want to rip his head off for it, right?
Yeah.
And you can leave the equality thing aside. I do want to point out that homophobia does not seem to be pretty present even in Carter County. And yet in Chicago, equality, they're pretty homophobic, it seems like. And yes, I'm being satirical. It's just one gas station experience. But,
Right?
Oh, sorry.
no, keep going. Keep going.
Okay.
Flower. You don't want it? Okay. Change is a bag. You have a blessed day, my brother. And you got these flowers. Because I'm feeling generous today. Yeah.
What the fuck I need some flowers for?
But you need some
Listen to what he
flowers
says.
for?
Listen.
I'm just feeling good today. I'm giving my customers
I
flowers.
think I'm a bitch or something, bro. I don't need no fucking flowers, bro.
That's what they all
No
say.
fucking flowers, bro. I'm good, bro.
Why you so mad about just some flowers?
Bro, I'm going home to my female, bro. I don't need no fucking flowers, bro.
Oh, so you think
He just said, I'm about to go home to my lady. It's like, you idiot, take the flowers and win some points.
you look like you're having a bad day?
Now watch, this is the part.
Yeah, you can have these flowers. I hope it makes your day a little bit better. It's real, it's real. All natural. Thank you. I got you. Is your day at least a little bit better? It is? Let me get a thumbs up real quick. I like that.
Listen to her, this is so sad.
Okay.
Give me a break, baby.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
What's on you so I can find it?
What made you like tear up?
Because I ain't had nobody to give me a rose in almost 20 years.
Really? I'm very glad to be the first one in 20 years.
Oops.
Slow.
And you saw the hurt in my face and
Yeah, most definitely.
Now, if you want to pause it just for a second, we don't have to keep going. But so far, you've had, what do you think, I'm a bitch?
Yeah.
What do you think, I'm a faggot?
Yeah.
And now she's like, oh my God, because she walks in defeated. Because she lives in hell, okay? And here's my point, and yes, it's satirical, but I don't feel like I should keep saying that.
It's not.
If you live in
not
Chicago, if you live in LA, if you live in New York, you don't get to vote, okay? I'm sorry, you don't live in America. You live in some weird, like, encapsulated hell zone where people come in to a gas station. If you give them a free flyer, they either break down in tears because their life sucks so bad, or they want to fight you.
Yeah.
Because they're a progressive Democrat with full of love, but they're homophobic as hell. It doesn't make any sense. So
Well-
that's my stance.
Well, you don't get to vote if you live in those cities anyway, because they, here, for example,
gerrymander you out.
Well, yeah, and Al Capone, he was, and this was back before, about the time the Democrats actually took over Chicago. Is Al Capone was in with the Republican mayor and basically had them running all the cops off of him, and they had some Democrats who were going to come in who were saying they were going to clean up the streets from all the corruption.
Yeah.
And Capone and his boys in the South Side gang took over the polling places, whipped people's asses, shot people, stabbed people, beat them up, wouldn't let people vote unless they voted for the guy that he supported. And so the only thing I can think of is I don't trust anyone, so they take it as some kind of insult or threat. Yeah, you're probably,
Yeah, I get that, but don't ruin my anecdotal evidence. That cities are awful and people shouldn't vote.
I mean, honestly though, if a random dude just gave me a flower, I'd be like, what the hell are you doing?
I mean, I wouldn't want to
I wouldn't want to fight him, but I
wouldn't
would be suspicious. I'd be
Yeah.
like, why in the hell are you doing this?
Well, like the one
what,
dude,
what are you
like,
trying to do here?
like the only one I would really give a hard.
If I am, I would actually be like,
I'm just saying,
Are you trying to scam me?
That'd be nice.
I'm saying what I want to
If
do
you're
is,
giving me a flower, it's like if you're giving me something nice.
but what I want to do as an experiment is maybe us get a bunch of flowers together and go. I don't even know where the roughest place and try. Oh, I'm sorry, the Appalachian Highlands.
Yeah.
let's go to Knoxville even.
Yeah.
And give out flowers, and I guarantee you will not. We can even go to like just the roughest part.
Yeah.
And just give out. I guarantee you won't get people responding.
No. Even me, if I was suspicious of you handing me a flower, I'd be like, okay, well, thank you,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't like try to fight you.
So even though, yes, I do get that it is really weird for a guy to be handing you flowers in a convenience store, especially in the TikTok world where they know he's making a video.
Yeah.
You know, but this is step one in my evidence that cities are awful. You shouldn't live there, and if you do, you need to be able to sign a waiver saying that I don't live in reality. And I can't vote.
You know, I noticed I was trying to do some clips for the last video. You were saying like you live in a city. You're not real people. You're not. You don't have rights. And then I said, listen. I said we're trying to
Promote love.
and I said we're
Freakies.
here in our area. We're trying to change all these things to appeal to city people. And I'm like, fuck these people. I like the way things are. And you're like, oh, I didn't say fuck these people. And oh no, you're just saying they're not human and they don't get to vote. But
I'm only dehumanizing them at every level.
But don't fuck those people.
No, I mean, on a real thing. FR. I do think, like, if you live in a state of stress, like, for example, if you're just stressed out all the time, you can't think.
Yeah.
And these big cities, I mean, I rag on just a little bit, but, like, these bigger cities, that's not normal. Like, it's like, every New Yorker, and I swear to God this is true, if you go to New York and you take the bus, the tour thing, go to the Phillies place and eat, everybody that lives there has a 9/11 story, and they will eventually follow it up with, man, this is the worst place to live. Don't ever bring your family here. But man, I love this city. I could never live somewhere else. And it's like, guys, you guys all have PTSD.
Yeah,
the whole city
Stockholm
has
syndrome.
PTSD. And it's real insane just to experience that.
Yep.
Off the street, I'd be suspicious, but not from a business, even a gas station.
Yeah.
Well, I guess like a lot of those people probably do suspect he was making a video.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is really aggressive was my only point, and I hope my anecdotal evidence will get Congress to make it to where city folk can't vote.
Well, hell, sometimes even in some of these places you go and you even say thank you to them, they like look at you like you're purple and you have horns growing out of your head. If you'd say thank you to someone,
I will tell you that Philadelphia was very friendly the one time that I've been, and I didn't expect that.
DC's a shithole.
I think DC is so rough though because of like the big like you feel like there's like eyeballs watching you.
There are.
And like there's literally cameras. Like you can't
The
take
electric eye.
a wrong street without getting like,
The hellion.
like a ticket. Like everything, there's cameras hanging everywhere. So it's a real paranoid sort of feel.
Sean says, great show. Thanks, guys. Hey, we're going to wind this one up because I got to pee from drinking this.
Same.
Now, this looks huge in my hand. If we're our friend Yetimus Maximus, were holding this hand, it would look like a miniature Coke can.
Yes, it would.
They're 24 ounces, so 1.5 pints.
Yep.
710 milliliters for our metric.
There's a reason we call him Yeti.
Yeti is one of the only people I've ever seen pick up a BC Rich bitch and it looked normal.
Yeah.
Or a beast, sorry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the
giant guitar. I mean, looks right.
Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. Hey, we're going to be back on Wednesday. Tim and I will be here for our news and current events roundup, so you can join us there. And I'm looking into, since we're running everything on YouTube, I'm going to try to find out if we can do Google Hangouts. That way we can do calls in through that and not have to screw with Skype. So hopefully we'll get that in pretty soon to where we can have some people call in and stuff like that. For right now, though, we're doing the chats, and this is a good way to get your input. So be sure and still keep doing that. Comment on the video if you're watching it after the fact. Go back and watch some of our other videos if you're interested in some of this stuff we've revisited. I mean, we've talked about many of the topics that we've gone over in other shows in this one. So this is our 37th episode or 38th episode. So we got plenty to talk about and plenty of other stuff for you to check out.
Ridiculous things for me to get wrong, and you guys spear me for.
Yeah, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on that because we are going to get stuff wrong. We're having a conversation here. That's what we're doing. So join us every Sunday and Wednesday at 10 p.m. and we will see you on
time.
That's right, Eastern Standard Time. And we will see you on Wednesday. I don't know what we're going to do this coming Sunday yet. Let's see what the news brings, and we'll let you know Wednesday what we're going to do for our Sunday show. All right, thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Do the do.
Do the do.
Do.
Thanks, Miss You.